Hi, I'm Rachel Bubb. I'm a certified financial planner at KW Wealth. Today I'm with Chris Bertarelli from John Hancock, and we're going to talk about how different emotions and biases can influence an investor's behavior. So finance has been based off of two assumptions. One, that markets are efficient and act in predictable manners. And two, investors are rational and make decisions using all available information. Well, what we've discovered is that's not actually the case. Investors are making more decisions based on their emotions, biases, and cognitive errors, and it's ultimately leading to some poor decisions that can impact your long-term financial plan. So let's talk about some of the biases and give you some actionable tips as how to remedy it and make sure that your long-term financial plan is healthy and you're that rational investor that the market is assuming. So Chris, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Rachel. It was a pleasure to be here today. Okay, so let's go with status quo bias. All right, people tend not to change an established behavior unless the incentive to change is compelling. I mean, I think we can all appreciate that. It's basically, as human beings, we have a reluctance to start a task that we fear is going to be complex and difficult, right? And so that's you could. The reason why that's a problem is it causes us to not monitor our investments, right? So our allocation, it's important your allocation matches your risk tolerance and time horizon. And periodically that needs to be adjusted. You also need to monitor the different investments you have. And so oftentimes people can just kind of ignore it and not pay attention. So how do you tell if you're under the influence of this bias? I've had that investment for years and it's been good. No need to change it now. Or more than half of my portfolio is invested in my company stock. I've heard that's not such a great idea, but I don't know where else to invest, right? So clearly, if somebody's thinking or saying something like this, they're under the influence of this bias. So what should you do about it if you find you in that situation? First, make a schedule. If there's something that's important to you and you're having a hard time making time to address that issue, make a schedule, put it on the calendar, and then you want to make sure that you revisit that regularly. Typically, if it's something important, it's complex. There could be several steps involved, right? So if you have a schedule and you put together a plan to accomplish that goal, and you revisit it on a regular basis, it can increase the likelihood that you'll actually follow through. Involve others and hold yourself accountable. I too am a certified financial planner. And boy, that test, when I took it, there was a 2-day test, and I had to study probably about 225 hours to prepare for that test. And so what I would do is every day when I was working, I would tell people that I was going to sit for the exam. And so basically it kind of made me accountable to others. And so when I got home from work and I was tired and maybe I didn't want to study and crack the books, I'd think to myself, oh, you know what? I told 7 people today that I'm going to take that exam. So I better get in the office and crack those books and start studying. And thankfully it worked because I took the test once and passed. So I was really happy about that. Discover what motivates you, right? So you have a little prize at the end. Maybe if it's a complex task and there's several steps to it and you put it in your calendar, maybe each time that you accomplish one of those small goals or small tasks that eventually helps you reach the bigger goal, that you reward yourself. Maybe you like chocolate, or maybe you like to go out and have a fancy meal, or just, go out for coffee with a friend, whatever that thing is that you really value and appreciate. That's a good way to kind of create a little carrot that motivates you to follow through. And you reward yourself for progress towards your goal. I mean, it is important. It is difficult for us to get off the couch and move forward and follow through on these actions that are required in order to reach a goal. So don't forget to pat yourself on the back periodically.
Yeah, status quo can really impact you and cause you not to do anything. I would rather not look at my finances all the time. And you don't need to look at them all the time, but create a routine. So you're at least doing it every 6 months or annually with your financial advisor. Because if you don't, in 3 years from now or 5, you might see something that you really wish you had made a change. and you had that opportunity. So we don't want you to ever fall into regret either because you just stuck to what was comfortable. So what are some other things that you can do to help prevent status quo or some of these other biases to prepare you for the future? Well, write down your financial plan. You and your advisor, you created it, and it's based on you, your goals, and your vision. So remember that whenever you get to a point where you don't want to pick it back up, you want to make sure it's still fresh and clean for you and you're attached to it and you're motivated by it. And then 2, identify some steps that'll help you recover during times like this. So you don't want to get off the couch because you don't want to go look at your finances because it's uncomfortable or challenging. Well, what can get you out of that mindset? Well, maybe it's going for a walk or talking to someone who's living this beautiful retirement dream, whatever it is that you need to motivate you to take action. And then set realistic expectations, right? The market's going to go up and it's going to go down, and you might need to make changes within that. And it's not going to be daily, but you still want to be aware of what's going on and just know that volatility is going to happen and you can do some things within your plan to be prepared for it. And then consider some approaches to just continually adding into the market, right? That's a great opportunity for you to buy highs and lows, and over time, it'll average out to a great purchasing cost. And by having that behavior, right, that's a behavior I would say that you can just fall in and stick to that routine. That's a good routine. So maybe that's the one you want to be doing. And then lastly, stay in touch with your financial advisor. We're here to help you. We're your coach. I know how hard it can be to get off the couch and do a push-up, but sometimes you just need a little support. And by meeting with us annually, that's going to motivate you and get you reconnected with your financial goals and your long-term vision. And ultimately, that's going to create financial success for you.